Hi, this is Sherry Veronica. I kept wondering about these two, Albert and Sofieth. Remember the Whites, the 44-year-old? They have him listed as 44 and her, two different ages, 33 and 39. You don't know which is which, but I kept wondering about them. Where did they get all of that money to launder? And they are the Bonnie and Clyde. They are the ones that attacked the big truck that has all the money. Remember May 11th, that's what they're saying. May 11th, the security personnel conducting a money drop at the Royal Bank of Canada branch in Broad Street in the city, Bridgetown. Remember when they, took the money and disarmed the guard? It was them. It was these two. Let me show you what they... Okay, let me play the video first. This is them coming out of the court yesterday. Why is he hiding his face? Why? She's not hiding her face. How did he get her to go along with that particular caper? And I'm not saying that she may not have had the idea, but what made them think that they could have gotten away with that in broad daylight? Here are the charges. I don't understand, excuse me, the money laundering part, because did they have a business? Or maybe you should ask, did the Whites have a business? Because to launder money, you kind of have to mix it up with other money. Like, you take the money to the bank as a business person and you say, oh yes, we had a really good day yesterday. Usually you would bring maybe, let's say 5,000, and then instead of bringing 5,000, you add like 50,000 onto that, and you take 55,000 or whatever. That's how else would they have laundered the money? And what bank? What bank were they using to launder, to wash and clean up that money and make it seem as though it was money that they honestly earned? How did they do that? Okay, here, this 50,000. Where did it go? How did they try to launder this amount of money? At what bank? And you can't go into any bank, I don't think anywhere in the world, maybe Mexico. Yeah, but they ask you, where'd you get the money from? And show them your tax returns and your business returns. You need to prove where you have gotten that money from. And did they have a business that they could have used that business to pretend that they had a really good day? And they were doing it this caper, this Bonnie and Clyde caper, it happened on May 11th. So how could they have been laundering money the same day? It was a Sunday. May 11th, 2025 was a Sunday. So when they talk about money laundering on the same day, how? Through what institution? Through what means? How did they launder money on the same day? Now, between the 11th and the 17th, can you see here? Between the 11th and the 17th, they only spent 150. Okay, that's all they spent. But you can see on the 11th itself, you can see 50,000, 6,600, almost 1,000 there, almost 100 here, 1,500 the same day. How did they do that? By what means did they launder that money to make it seem as though they got it from their business? Because there's place you have to place that money somewhere. A placement. You have to put it somewhere, and then there's a layering factor. How you have to, let's say, I got this and I got that and I got this and I got that, and it came from here and it came from there. How did it happen that they could have laundered the money on the same day? Okay, make it make sense, okay? I'm just trying to get you guys to think, because it's not everything that is in the paper that makes sense, okay? So yeah, they robbed the truck, and the money belonged to Tanis. And how did they start to launder? You should ask those questions, not that you're going to do it, but how did they endeavor to launder money on the same day that it was all over the news that this particular truck was robbed and money, a whole set of money was taken? How did they do that? It's too late for him to hide his face. It's actually too late, okay? So Albert Nathaniel White and his wife, Sofieth White, they have been arrested, charged, and they were sent up to the hotel in St. Philip, known as Dodds, because they did a Bonnie and Clyde. They pulled a Bonnie and Clyde in Barbados. They robbed, we call it an armored truck. Those are the ones that take big money from businesses to the bank, and they're guards on the truck. Well, there were guards. There was a guard because they took the guy's weapon, and he's hiding his face. He has the audacity. Let me show you. He probably doesn't even know. We know what you look like. He probably doesn't even know that his photo, his mugshot, is all over social media. Bonnie and Clyde, whose idea was it? Whose idea? Now you walk into a room and you say, wife, we need some money. Let's go and rob an armored truck. And we're gonna do it a Sunday where there are not many people around. And I'm gonna buy you a nice car and a nice ring, that little cheap ring that I bought you. I'm gonna upgrade. And are you in or are you out? Oh yes, honey, I'm in. Is that how it went down? Is that how it went down? How did you pull? How did each one of these people pull each other into robbing a truck full of money in Barbados? How did it? It just blows my mind. It is something that blows my mind, and it's indicative to me. It's indicative of mental illness, because there's no way that would have worked. There's no way that idea and that action could have worked. And I know you don't you don't connect mental illness with criminality, or unless they're saying I did it by reasons of insanity. Some people have that as a plea. Yeah, I did it, but I was insane. But normally they don't put mental illness and crimes together. But I do. I have agency. I've come online within myself, and I know that if you were to sit and think of depriving someone of something, and then you execute on that, that is a madness that's going on inside your brain. It's a craziness that's going on inside your brain, that you're actually going to go out to take something from someone and then go off to spend it so that you can enjoy, and you deprived someone of it. It's a mental illness in my mind. I think that hardened criminals, are mentally ill. How else do you explain it? How else do you explain this, okay? So this Barbadian Bonnie and Clyde went through on a crazy idea, and they were caught. They are accused of money laundering. That needs to be explained. Barbadians need to be educated as to the steps that these people took to launder money. And in big places like where I live, you can't launder $100 or $200. That's not considered money laundering. Okay, please, it's it's not considered money laundering if it's $190. Okay, I know that they had that on the list, like 100 money laundering, $190, money laundering, $90. It doesn't work like that here. It has to be sums of money, sums, and you have to show that you've commingled it with something that was legit. That although it could be a shell company, it's just crazy. That ask your police or you should do every child in Barbados should take some legal classes, some law classes. That should be part of the curriculum, because saying that they money laundered and they actually doing it, it needs to be understood in the brains of young people so that they know that when you say, they can say, oh, they added it on and they just clumped it all together. But it should be an education. You just don't say things and then have children repeat it, not knowing what they're saying. So a class or two in law should be taught to children throughout. So let me play this one more time and then I am off to the races. This is Albert Nathaniel White, 44 years old, and his wife, Sofieth White. They claim she's 39 in this particular installment. She was placed at 33 in another installment. But yeah, was she looking to go into the same car as her husband? I don't know. They're going to the same place, but different areas of the same place. Okay, so that's the video, and it was via the Nation, and the video was done by Jamel Jameel Springer. Okay, so this is Sherry Veronica.
Help me spread the word about Naked Departure via social media. Subscribe and share to show support and love for our channels.